let's dive right in. Today, we're tackling a topic that is like woven into America's DNA, immigration. We're taking a deep dive into this source, the impact of immigration on American society, challenges and opportunities.
Definitely a timely one.
It is. This deep dive, we're going to go through history, economics, bit of politics, and we're going to do it all by focusing on the stories, the experiences of people who've actually made America their home.
Yeah, that's what makes it real, right?
Absolutely. So our source kicks things off by going way back. It looks at the history of immigration to the U.S. And, one thing that's so clear is America's been like this magnet
Yeah.
for people all over the world for like centuries. I mean, think about it. In the late 19th century, you had this enormous wave of Europeans.
Huge influx.
And then in the 20th century, it shifted. We saw more immigrants coming from Asia and Latin America.
And it keeps changing, right? Like every wave sort of changes the landscape.
Exactly. Each wave kind of reshapes America.
Absolutely. And with each wave, immigration policies, they've had to adapt. It's this ongoing balancing act of being welcoming while also managing, the impact on society.
Yeah, a lot of moving pieces there.
Totally.
So thinking about all these waves of immigration and how America has, changed and adapted over time, I'm thinking about the economic side of things. Like we always hear about immigrants being job creators. But is that really true?
It's not just a saying, it's real. Immigrants, they're a major engine driving force of the U.S. economy.
Really?
Think about it. So many key sectors like technology, agriculture, healthcare, they rely heavily on the talent and the hard work of immigrants.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
And get this, almost half,
Wow.
45% of Fortune 500 companies, founded by either immigrants or their children.
45%?
Yeah.
That's a huge number. I mean, any examples come to mind?
Oh, tons. I mean, just look at Google.
Okay, yeah.
One of the co-founders, Sergey Brin, he was a Russian immigrant.
Right, right.
And I think that kind of shows the entrepreneurial spirit.
Yeah.
Many immigrants come here with this drive to succeed, to build something new.
That's incredible. But, I've also heard some economists say that immigration can lead to lower wages, especially in certain sectors.
Yeah.
So how do we make sense of that? Like, how do we reconcile that with this idea that immigration is so beneficial for the economy overall?
That's a really good point, and it's a valid concern. In certain industries, in specific regions, a sudden increase in workers can definitely put pressure on wages. There's no question about that. But if you zoom out, look at the bigger picture, studies have shown that immigration actually has a positive impact on the economy as a whole. It fuels innovation, it creates jobs, it expands the customer base.
I see.
So it's complex. We need to make sure wages are fair for everybody while also recognizing the potential, the economic potential that immigrants bring.
So it's not a simple yes or no, good or bad thing.
Exactly. Way more nuanced than that.
Okay, well, our source also dives into the cultural side of immigration, and it really does paint this like vibrant picture.
It's pretty amazing.
It is. I mean, American culture is this amazing mix of food, music, art, languages.
Yeah.
And like so much of that is because of immigration.
Yeah.
Like immigrants have woven these threads, into the fabric of American life.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it.
Our source actually uses that metaphor,
Yeah.
the tapestry metaphor. But it's true, right? I mean, you think about the contributions of Chinese immigrants, Mexican immigrants, Indian immigrants. They're so deeply embedded in American culture now.
Literally where you look.
Everywhere you look. And it enriches our society in so many ways.
Absolutely.
It's important to acknowledge, though, that it's not always sunshine and roses.
Right.
I mean, our source talks about, the rise of anti-immigrant sentiment, about discrimination.
Yeah, definitely a darker side to it.
For many immigrants, that must be a really tough reality to face.
It is. The immigrant experience, it's not always easy. A lot of newcomers, they face prejudice, they face cultural clashes. They might feel like they don't belong.
It makes you realize we still have a lot of work to do when it comes to understanding and acceptance.
Yeah, we do. It's about celebrating diversity, the richness that it brings, while also tackling the challenges that come with it.
You're right. Always more work to be done. And that kind of leads us into the political arena.
Because it's always there.
Immigration has been this hot-button political issue, for as long as I can remember.
Yeah.
Whether it's debates about building walls or arguments about temporary protections and asylum programs, it never goes away.
No, it doesn't. And it's important to remember that different administrations, they've all had their own approaches. Obama, Trump, Biden, each one had their own set of policies, which just goes to show how dynamic and complex this whole issue is.
Yeah. And it's constantly evolving.
Constantly.
But you know what I find really interesting is how immigrant communities themselves are really becoming more vocal, more active.
They have to be.
They're shaping these policies. They're voting, they're organizing, they're making their voices heard.
Absolutely, and that's a good thing. Their perspectives, their experiences, they matter. They're vital to creating policies that are both effective and just.
I agree. So as we kind of wrap up this deep dive, I'm wondering, what does it all mean? What should our listeners take away from this?
You know, the source really highlights this idea. Immigration is more than just numbers, more than just policies. It's about individual stories, about the contributions of real people, and about how American identity is always changing, always evolving.
Right.
Every immigrant, they bring their own talents, their own dreams, their own challenges. Understanding their experiences, well, that's crucial if we want to have informed, meaningful discussions about immigration.
Couldn't agree more. This deep dive has been so insightful. We've explored the history, the economics, the culture, the politics, all wrapped up in this one huge topic, immigration in America.
Yeah.
Any final thoughts before we sign off?
If you really want to get it, to really understand the impact of immigration, take the time to listen to the stories of individual immigrants. Those stories, they give you a powerful personal perspective. And remember, immigration is going to continue to shape America's future. So having thoughtful, informed discussions like the one we had today,
Super important.
it's key to navigating the challenges and taking advantage of the opportunities that come with it.
You said it. Thanks so much for joining us on this deep dive, everyone. We'll see you on the next one.